Right then, as promised, we are live here at 12 p.m. Still about 7 hours to go for that first delivery to be bowled in the semi-final between India and England. And guess what? It's a repeat of the same semi-final that we've had now for the third edition. India, of course, are the defending champion on this occasion. Previously, before that, when the teams met, it was England that were the defending champion. But what's really interesting is, apart from the fact that India and England meeting at the same stage of the same tournament, third time in a row, what's really interesting is also the fact that you've had a scenario where England have made it to the semi-final for the fifth consecutive time. And I think that is also an incredible feat from the three lions. What we're going to be doing is a quick, brief preview and try and answer some of those pointed questions that you're looking answers for. I hope, Siddharth, your ear plugs are connected, because there's like so much noise where you are, but good you've muted yourself. But we'll ask a couple of questions to you because you're our man on the ground. Firstly, one thing that you're exceptional at, amongst other things, is telling us what the weather is going to be like. So let us know.
Well, Nikhil, I can't help but block out the noise as well, because look at it. As you said, there is 7 hours to go. But I am at the Wankhade gate right here, and look at the crowd. If you can see the crowd that's already lined up, many people are even wanting to buy tickets now. There's still a last-minute hope. Sir, can we get the tickets? Can we get the tickets for this? It is absolutely jam-packed with 7 hours to go. And the crowd swell is only going to happen and is going to keep on increasing and increasing and increasing as the time goes by. And as you know, this particular road where I am at Wankhade Gate, it leads to the Queen's Necklace. So unfortunately, there's going to be a massive bottleneck from 2-3 o'clock onwards. Remember, they haven't thrown open the Rohit Sharma stand and the Sunil Gavaskar stands yet. That is gate number 5 and 6. So because of that, you are going to see a lot of noise, a lot of traffic jams that is going to happen. But don't worry. At about 3 or 4 o'clock, what I'm going to do is, from gate number 5 onwards until all the way from Churchgate, I will be taking the fans' reaction as well. So yes, fans are lined up here. But as far as the weather is concerned, Nikhil, today it is slightly better. It is slightly better as far as the heat is concerned. Yes, it is still very hot, but yesterday was hotter. The key thing you have to understand at this point in time, what is the breeze going to be like? The breeze factor is going to be very important heading into the Wankhade Stadium, because last 2 days, it has been very hot in the day. They practiced in the day and they practiced in the night. But from 9 o'clock onwards, when the breeze stopped, the dew became too much. Now, unless they use dew cure, then there is a equal advantage. But if there is no dew cure, then the team that bowls first and will be batting second, massive advantage, because the wind dies down by 9:15, you will get dew then. And if it is very hot, I think at 2-3 o'clock it will be hotter. Then I think toss will play a vital role. And for people who are wondering whether there will be rain or clouds, crystal clear at 36 degrees, 27 degrees minimum, and plenty of humidity.
Okay, that was the most important thing. No rain predicted, because as you know, technically, if this is a washout, I think they have a reserve day. That's all right. But if there is a washout, even with a reserve day, England go through, because they finished top of their group. So the rule is such. But just to let you know, there is no rain predicted. You're going to get a game. So that, is not the issue. This is what Siddharth is telling us, because he's there in Mumbai. But the other thing is, do you cure or not, whether they lose or not? You're the guy there. You have to tell us whether they lose or not. We can't be telling you from here. So I think if you're using dew cure, you have to be using it for the days leading up. You've been there at practice. So tell us, are they using it or not? We can't hear you, Siddharth. You're on mute.
Can you hear me now? Okay. All the days that I've been there in practice, I've not seen them use the dew cure at all. All the 2-3 days that was there. Yeah. So this is where then the toss becomes a massive advantage. Then bat first, if you are bowling first, massive advantage.
Okay. That's the thing about the weather there. The other thing I want to know, in terms of what are the noises coming out of the two camp? Which is the camp that is looking like more assured, looking like more confident? You must have seen the body language, teams practicing, press conferences. Because I know one thing for sure, I've been reading a lot of former players of England, and they've all, typical English basta, saying, oh, they're going to beat India, they're going to go through, they'll win rather easily, so on and so forth. So I think that is the discussion that we are, hearing at the moment. From there, as I said, we used to hear it from Australia previously, but I'm hearing it from England as well. So tell us about in terms of body language and so on and so forth. And I think, Siddharth, I may be mistaken, but I don't think your earpods are connected because the noise outside is much clearer. I'll tell you why. Just take your earpods off. Just take your just take your earpods off. Yeah, keep them in the pocket. Keep them in the pocket. Take them off. No. Just keep this online. Take them off. Put them in your pocket. Don't put it in a box. Just put them in your pocket. Put them in both. Yeah. Now talk to us. Talk to us.
This noise will be far more, I think.
No.
If I remove the earpod, then
it's exactly the same.
1 minute. I'll connect it again.
I guess this is one of the perils of digital journalism.
Yeah.
Now is it a lot better?
I think so. Yes, this is much better.
It is connected now. Okay.
Yes,
okay. So I got to know about.
Noise is gone.
Okay. So as far as the body language is concerned of both India and England, one thing is for common. Both have not played the perfect game yet. Morne Morkel has acknowledged the fact that yes, we have not played a perfect game, but we are still in the semi-final. Harry Brook believes that you don't need a perfect game to win the title. It is just what you do well on that particular day. So the perfect game scenario has been thrown out of the window by these two individuals. I mean, Morne Morkel said, we are in the semi-final, isn't it? So why bother? What we have to do well on this day, we will do it. Harry Brook, sure, they have had close games against Pakistan, New Zealand, and because of that, Harry Brook believes that we will be able to handle the pressure a lot better. They are not looking too much into the bilateral series. The cockiness is there. Let's see. Varun Chakravarti's got you out so many times. Well, he's a good spinner. I will try and score runs against him. But he got a bit agitated, Harry Brook, and that is where I think the distraction factor might come in. When asked about spin, he got a bit agitated saying that, look, boss, we get a very unfair deal and unfair rap about this whole situation regarding spin. How on earth? We have won 6 games in Sri Lanka. How on earth will you say that we are bad against spin? So they are not having that spin worries at all. On the other hand, the Indian cricket team, they are very casual, they're very normal, they're very relaxed. Like how they have been in all press conferences. There's no sense of agitation. The team is looking settled. The team is looking in a very good shape at this point in time. All have had an extended batting sessions, bowling sessions. So India are a lot more calm. England look a lot more agitated because of the spin quotient. But they also have the depth. England's bowlers also have the depth. England's batters have the depth. India also have the same thing. So it's a clash of two very equal teams. So yes, Harry Brook, a little agitated. In India are a bit more calmer than the England cricket team. The practice, when you look at it, Hardik Pandya should be the Bradman of practices. Because in the first day of the practice session, he batted 3 hours. 3 hours he batted in 4 different strips. Yesterday, it was Rinku Singh, Varun Chakravarti who had an extended spell. So that is why all the batters, all the bowlers had a very good day one of the practice. And I'm glad that they somehow practiced from 7:15 to 10:30 because they replicated the match simulation in a way. They got the conditions 7:15 to 9:15, there was no dew. 9:30 to 10:15 onwards, there was a lot of dew. So they kind of got to know the match simulation in that particular period on day one. Day two was a lot more calmer. Execution wise, even India has acknowledged that yes, Shivam Dube, his execution's been off the mark with the ball. But apart from that, very few worries in the Indian camp. England, they have that aggression, may sound borderline cocky, but I think that's how the English cricket team are. It'll all depend upon Jos the boss.
Okay. Just to let you know what were the exact quotes that I was talking about when it comes to, the English camp. So we had Michael Vaughan say, England have a better spin attack than India. Varun has been got at. Dawson, Rashid and Will Jacks have been the best spin trio in the tournament. So Michael Vaughan's very bullish, as he always is. Michael Atherton says England have been getting better in the tournament and they'll have taken confidence from the wins and the tight win against New Zealand. So Atherton's also, very bullish about England. Harry Brook has said, I've heard a few lads say they wanted to play India anywhere and it's going to be a massive occasion with a hell lot of pressure for both sides. So Harry Brook saying that we always wanted India, we've got India. And in a sense, hinting at they would want revenge for what happened last time. So, as I said, listening to the comments from England, they do sound very bullish at the moment. Yeah, Shane, you had something to say.
Axel seems fairly reasonable. What he's saying is not entirely wrong. Again, with English players, I feel if once you become captain, I think they have some sort of an induction ceremony whereby you end up sounding cocky. So I do think that was definitely him saying.
Shane, I don't know if we can hear you very well. If you can just put your Siddharth, if you can be on mute, it'll really help us. Yeah.
Is this better now?
Is this better now? Slightly better. Yeah.
Okay. So as I was saying, I think what's happening with the English camp is that this is their typical mind games. Vaughan in particular, I don't place much stock in what he's saying unless he's saying it in some sort of a long form interview, because again, his tweets and his one-liners can often be very, very, very off-putting for opposition fans to read. And I think that's his nature. He's trying to kind of provoke those reactions from people, and that's fair. But to hear him say that England have a better spin attack, they were also playing in much better, more spin-friendly Sri Lankan conditions. So I dare say you have to keep that part into account as well. I do think obviously India have had their struggles with spin in the last couple of games. Varun in particular has looked off color. But if you have to ask me which spin attack I want, I'm picking the Indian one 10 times out of 10.
Okay. 3 questions, and we'll try and look for answers to these 3 questions and wrap up our preview. Firstly, we can go one by one. In terms of changes, are you expecting any?
I mean, I was expecting one, right? We thought one change would be.
Siddharth, if you can mute yourself, it will be really helpful. So, thank you.
Again, I didn't think that was a change.
Not audible. Your audio is not very clear. If you could start again, please.
Yeah, so as I was saying, I hope the audio holds up here. Is that the one change potentially from the team would have been Abhishek Sharma, how Rinku Singh in, but based on the comments you were hearing from Maury Morkel in the pre-match press conference.
Shane, your audio is not very good. I think remove the earpods. Maybe we'll try and get that. So your audio is not coming through. Let's go to Siddharth. Siddharth, you could start. You could tell us if there are going to be any changes or not.
Well, as far as I can tell you, Nikhil, the mood is not any changes will be made, because you are not dropping in Abhishek Sharma. At this point in time, you need Abhishek Sharma to fire. Remember, he's got a very good record at the Wankhade. He did hit 100 against England the last time around in February. So, that factor is still there, that England are quite spooked by Abhishek Sharma because they have been planning for him. Sam Curran also said that we have got plans for Abhishek Sharma so that he doesn't score against us. So see, when you look at the practice session, if it's any indication, I think you are going to play the same 11. I will tell you the 11 right away. Abhishek, Sanju, Ishan, Surya, Tilak, Hardik, Dubey, Aksar, Varun, Arshdeep, Bumrah. That is your playing 11. You're not making any changes until that time. Because why do you want to make a change in a semi-final and get in somebody who's like, okay, we want to get in a Rinku and drop an Abhishek? Really? If he fires today, then all that talk will be bad. No, you had the same thing about Sanju Samson, but then he delivered to the 99 rather in Kolkata. So why change when it is not needed? So I'm saying no changes.
Shane.
The one change I was looking forward to was maybe Abhishek going out. But even I'm okay with making no changes.
Shane, your audio is not great. Have you removed your earpods?
I have actually, and I put them back. So I don't know what the
No,
problem is.
no, no. My request to you is please try and do it without your earpods. I think the
Oh,
problem lies in your earpod. Yeah.
okay, earphones are off. So what I was saying, is this better?
For now, let's go. Yeah.
As I was saying, I think this side making no changes seems about right. I do think that they were perhaps looking at getting an Abhishek out, but based on what Mone was saying, I don't think they're doing that. If they're saying that his case is similar to Sanju, then they're just waiting for him to.
Hmm. Okay. Still not really clear from Shane's end, but yeah. I mean, in terms of how I see it, I mean, I'm taking what Sam Curran said with a lot of pinch of salt. I know he came out and said that, oh, Abhishek, we are scared of him. I don't know whether I take it on face value or do I, look at it differently, because sometimes opposition does that when they don't want the team to make any changes. They do end up talking about that particular player. But there's also the fact that the last time these two teams met, I think exactly about a year ago, 13 months ago, on the same ground, and Abhishek smashed an absolute brilliant 135. So that's something that will be on the minds of the Indian team as well as the English team. So with that in mind, I think, see, for me, it's a 50-50. It doesn't matter whether India stick with Abhishek or make that change by making Sanju and Ishan open and bring in Rinku. I think both have merit in whichever way the Indian team looks at it, whether they stay with Abhishek or make that change. I'd be okay with either thing, but I'm happy. I think in all likelihood, as Siddharth is reporting, they might not be making any change, and I'm fine with it. Abhishek on his day can be dangerous. So if they're going with him, I'm happy with the Indian team. I believe England might be making a change. They'll bring in a Dawson for sure instead of Rayan Ahmad is what we believe. I think based on the conditions that you're going to be getting, that's the change that England would look to make. Now, to the other question, is it going to be what has been the case in T20 cricket? The team that wins the toss, firstly, will decide to bowl. That means they would want to chase. And will it be win toss, win match? Siddharth?
Definitely. See, because the dew will come unless the weather changes, it becomes breezy. Then it may be a 50-50 contest. But so far, what 2 days I've seen is there has been no breeze in the night time. So there will be dew after 9:15, 9:30. Now, why 9:15, 9:30 is a very important period? Because by that time, the second innings, 6-over power play will be done. You are then in the middle overs where gripping the ball might become slightly more difficult. And yes, it is often, look, you have to also depend upon the pitch. This is the same pitch where two matches have been played. West Indies versus England, Italy versus Nepal. I'm not taking the Italy versus Nepal game too seriously because that happened in the daytime, 3-7. But the West Indies Nepal game, England couldn't chase 196 against West Indies. This was in the same venue, same pitch, by the way. However, the conditions that were there in February are different than what it was in March. So, with
I mean,
dew, you would,
just to Siddharth, I believe this is the pitch. It's strip number 7 that is being used, which I think is the same strip where it was Nepal versus Italy and
yeah,
England versus West Indies. Right, that was the strip. Okay, because I heard West Indies versus Nepal in your answer. Okay, go ahead.
no. West Indies versus England, but England couldn't chase
Yes,
197 against West Indies.
correct.
Italy, Nepal,
Yes.
I'm discounting that a bit because that was a day game, 3-7. So the conditions are totally different. Now the conditions are different. You will see what is in the India-England
But
situation. So,
even there in that game, which is a day game, it was an amazing pitch to bat on because Italy chased it down 120 odd in just 12 overs. So they were going 10 and over. So it's a very good pitch to bat on. Yeah.
yeah, it will be a belter. See, yesterday there was watering done on the pitch because it was incredibly hot yesterday. So they watered the pitch. Bonnie Morkel mentioned that the pitch is soft, but it will be a belter. So I'm not expecting it to be like the India USA game where it was tacky. I think this will be the typical Mumbai wicket where you will see some high runs. With dew coming in, chasing will become easier. So I think if you win the toss, you will want to bowl first because the opposition gets the worst of the dew then. But all that could change if the breeze starts blowing and it throws everything in your then. So take into account the conditions, but win the toss, bowl first.
No, that's a very obvious thing. Win the toss, bowl first. But what we really want to know is that is it done and dusted for the team that's batting first? I mean, that's been the sort of trend, and I think that is very important. That's a no-brainer. The team that wins the toss is definitely going to be bowling. They want to chase. So, anyways, Shane.
Wins the toss will be at a massive advantage. So I think what we saw yesterday will be out today because I do think early on in Wankhade, bowlers get some assistance. So if that is to happen, you bowl first, try and get the team out, and then bat second.
Okay, I'm still not being able to hear you very clearly, but I did get the gist of what you were saying. Siddharth, can you hear Shane very well, or is it just me?
It is breaking up occasionally. I'm able to hear one, two words, but it is breaking up occasionally.
Yeah, for some reason, yes.
But I'm the one who started the stream, so.
Yeah, but your voice is, and the thing is that your video is absolutely fine, but your audio just keeps breaking up. So I don't know why that is happening, and that's why I thought maybe without the pods would be better. But anyway, going back to the, so I was just looking at it from 2014 onwards to now. Every knockout tournament in the T20 World Cup, the team that has chased has won, barring two occasions. Both those occasions, India won it, but they were day games. So that's the big difference. So day game, it doesn't make any sort of a difference. It's only usually night games that are, where the toss becomes so much more important. And this, of course, is a night game. And just as I speak now, I can't even see Shane straight because he's turned upside down. I wonder why that has happened. If he can. Thankfully, he's back the way he should be. So, I mean, in that sense, I agree that toss is going to be rather important. But I have a feeling that it will not be as important as Eden Gardens, because from what I was reading, the dew in Mumbai so far in the days leading up hasn't been as bad as what we were experiencing in Kolkata, which I think is then again good news in that sense that it may not be that decisive a factor. So I'm not 100% sure it's win toss win game sort of a scenario. I think you could still have a scenario where team batting first will win, but of course odds will be stacked against them. It's going to be a massive advantage if you're chasing. And why I also say it, because I think unlike Kolkata where the pitch was a bit tacky in the first half and got better in the second, I believe the pitch in Wankhade will also be a belter in the first half. So let's say in the worst case scenario, if India are to bat first, I think they will try and aim at a good healthy total in the above 200, 220. And once a team reaches that, no matter how good the conditions become in the second half, the pressure of a knockout to chase that sort of a total is also unprecedented. It doesn't quite happen. So I don't think it'll be that bad as it turned out to be for the team batting first in Kolkata. I think it will not be that massive a disadvantage. Okay, finally, before we wrap up, let's take predictions and why. Let's start with Siddharth.
Well, my confidence has taken a big hit after I did not even put New Zealand in the semi-final race. And I'm guilty as charged. Yes, I had not put New Zealand in the semi-final bid, but I had my reasons for it because I didn't believe that they had a well-rounded unit. But thanks, New Zealand, for proving me wrong. But as far as I can tell you, in Mumbai, I think India should ace this because there is confidence. They have already had their one bad game heading into the semi-final. They were in a knockout situation as well in two matches, and they aced that under pressure. England also, they have also aced the pressure test because they got over the line against Pakistan and New Zealand. It is going to be a very, I will say 51% India and 49% England. That will be that close because see, You are having a contest of two-time champions. Whoever wins this and wins the final will become a three-time champion for the first time.
Mm.
Depth-wise, bowling, batting, they are equally matched. So I'm not going to say, oh, it will be 80% India, 20% England. No. I think the contest will be a lot more closer. Both teams, gung ho approach. They want to bat big, they want to bat aggressively. They are stuck in seventh gear. It will all depend upon how England counter India's spin twins, Aksar and Varun. That will be the key. Otherwise, if England can get to 220, 230, then it'll be a big chase for India also. And that is why I'm not ruling them out. So 51-49 in India's favor.
Mm.
Okay, so I'll go 60-40 in India's favor. But one very interesting stat, in the last two occasions when these two teams have faced off in the semi, whoever has won the semi-final has gone on to win the title. So I will say this, whoever wins this match would be the favorites in the final too. But 60-40 in India's favor.
Shane,
Wow.
I just want to add a very interesting anecdote to that. I've done a video also on Sports Today explaining that why beating England is a major step in winning any ICC event for India. You look at 1983. Who did they beat in the semi-final to win the World Cup? England. Who did they beat in 2022 and in 2020? Who did they beat in 2024? England. It's 2-0 when it comes to India at that. But when England have won against India, their cricket in a whole has suffered. I'll tell you why. You would all remember 1987. India were in the middle of a very glorious period from 83 to 86. They had won the World Championship of Cricket. They had beaten England 2-0 in a test series, also the ODI series 2-0 in 1986. So they were coming into the 1987 World Cup high on confidence. But then right here at the Wankhade, Graham Gooch swept England to victory, and that is why India's cricket did not recover after 1987. They were the favorites to win in front of their home fans. Now in 2022, you would all remember the perfect game where England absolutely annihilated India by 10 wickets. What did that do? It forced a rethink of the T20 blueprint. And it took India some time, but now they are at the cusp of that as well. So a lot of the parallels of 1987 are being played out even in 2026. India also had a very dominant period in ICC, 2024 T20 World Cup, 2025 Champions Trophy, both unbeaten. Here they have had one bad game, but even in 1987 they had that one bad game against Australia and Chennai. Here, South Africa, they lost by 76 runs. So, lots and lots of parallels. And if you beat England, then you will be the favorites heading into Ahmedabad also.
Yeah, I mean, in all of this, New Zealand would be like, you are deciding who's going to win the World Cup, You didn't even pick them, and now you're saying whoever wins here will go on to win the tournament. Okay. But yeah, before I come to my prediction, just a couple of comments I'm going to take. Amardeep Grewal joins us from Australia. He says, on paper, India is strong. Rest depends on the day. And I think I can't agree more with Amardeep. And I think that's the common consensus that we have here. Ishmeet Singh from Canada says, by chance, if we lose, will Gigi, his exit will be possible? That's what he's asking. I mean, Ishmeet, I think there'll be a lot of debate. And I think it's a debate best to have once the game is done. But I think the pressure will be there. I think it'll be very tough after those test losses. And now if you get knocked out, which will be considered as a failure for Indian fans, for him to continue. And I think that might still happen. Ashish Dhar says, will you question unchanged 11 if India lose today? I don't think so. See, I mean, as we've all concluded, both my colleagues have said they would want to stick with Abhishek. I also said I'm 50-50. If you're pushing Sanju as well as Ishan to open and bring Rinku, I'm fine with that. But if you're sticking with Abhishek, I'm also fine with that. I don't see anything much changing there. And so if India lose, I don't think that question will be asked. Questions may be asked about their strategy or maybe Abhishek's form if he doesn't fire here, but not so much about why did you not change. I think that I don't think should be an issue. Vishal from the US says, why Duke Cure is not being used at every venue? And I think that's a very valid question. And that's something I think we can address after the tournament is done. Why Chennai used it and why, other venues are not. I think it's a good addition. I said it yesterday. Maybe, you could have continued with it. It really helps cricket in general, and let's not put so much focus on the toss. Ashidhar also says West Indies defended against Sri Lanka in 2012 final T20 World Cup. You're right. But the thing is, I mentioned after 2014, all knockout games, you've had a scenario where team that's chasing has won, barring the 2 games where India defended. Those 2 were, also, of course, day games. So I'm just talking about knockouts. That includes semi-finals, right? So those are the questions that we've had so far. And my prediction for the game, I agree with the general consensus. I think India start as the favorite. I know that toss is going to be a big advantage, but I think if one team can win this encounter batting first as well, it'll be the Indian team. I feel this is the pitch, the way the pitch is being made. I think they've left a bit of grass. They've not used it from early on Feb. That was the last time the game was played here, so they've not used the pitch from there. So which means it's almost like a fresh strip, and it's a strip that's going to really help batting. The ball really comes onto the bat. There's that extra bounce, small boundaries. I think Indian batting will enjoy that. Lots of runs. Maybe a few England batters will also enjoy that. But I'm looking at the conditions and the firepower, and both teams haven't had a perfect game so far. I agree, neither England nor India. But to me, India has looked slightly more fluent of the 2 teams going into this semi-final, and of course home advantage, so on and so forth. So I think I'm picking India in this one to win, even if they were to lose the toss and bat first. The margin then becomes very narrow, maybe 51-49 if India were to bat first. But I think if India are chasing, then I'm going considerably in India's favor at 60-40 or something like that, or probably even higher than that. So I think that's what India has. Finally, before we go, one opposition player you are a bit scared about, bit nervous about, bit wary about, Siddharth?
I am very, very concerned about Will Jacks. Because Will Jacks has been the player in form for England. He's been your match winner with both bat and ball. He's won a lot of player of the match awards in this T20 World Cup. Plus, he's got the experience of playing a lot at the Wankhade as well. So for me, the one player whom I'm very scared about is Will Jacks. And if you get Jacks out early, then I think you will have an edge. Because remember, England's spin bowling is also complemented very well by Jacks's off spin.
Jack comes at
India
6 or 7, yeah. Early, matlab you.
But
that means you're on
but
a
still,
good.
yeah. But then see, you've got others also. You just asked me to name one. I'm concerned about Jacks, the all-rounder. He can give that finishing touch with the bat. He can also chip in with the ball. And there is a reason. We all thought that, okay, Will Jacks might not be able to do well against New Zealand, but look at the way how he did it. Then, I don't know if if I can add one more player into the mix. Sam Curran. Sam Curran will be the key in this whole England innings, because he's had a rebirth. 1 year back, he was not even in the scheme of things. Now he is not only contributing with the bat, he's contributing with the ball, and the sixes that he was hitting in practice yesterday. He was the only individual who managed to hit the press box glass straight. None of the other England batters, none of the other Indian batters managed to do it. He was hitting it into the second tier stands here. So Sam Curran and Will Jacks for me are the players that I'm worried about in this competition at the Wankhade.
Okay. Before you come in, Shane, I'll just take a few comments. Priyanshu has picked Brooks, Jacks, and Rashid. We have, I think, people from across the border also were cheering for England. I think I'm assuming because he's saying Buttler todega aaj tum logo ko. So when he's saying tum logo, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that Indian fan can't be saying it, but tum log would mean that it's from a different country, I'm assuming. Then Dubey Hardik can hit it, Loki is saying. And Sarat Chandra is saying Buttler or Salt. He's thinking about that. So yeah, these are just some of the comments from our viewers in terms of who they're wary about in the English camp. Yes, Shane.
Yeah, I will agree with Sarat here. I was going to pick Phil Salt. Buttler, I think, is a spent force. Phil Salt is overdue one big knock. Just like Abhishek, Salt is really overdue that one big knock, and we've seen single-handedly he can do what Allen can play when Allen is, I'm going to go Salt. Get him early, go to the game.
Okay. I heard a bit of it. you're talking about Phil Salt. I'm going to get to my players. A first name that came to my mind was Adil Rashid because he's been outstanding. And then my mind also goes back to the semi-final that happened in Adelaide. And he was very good for England and he's been in good form. But I think the conditions here are not going to be conducive to him. I think the last game that I mentioned where Abhishek scored a lot of runs, he went for about 40 plus in his 3 overs or something like that. He got hammered a lot in that game. So if it's not really gripping and turning, and that is what I'm expecting the Wankhade pitch to be. So I don't think conditions are going to be good for him and he can go for plenty of runs. I believe that even in the Nepal game where it was a good batting pitch and I think you'll get similar sort of pitcher, he went for plenty of runs there as well. So Adil Rashid I was thinking, but I've now removed him. So the players that I'm going with is one, I agree with Shane. Everyone's talking about Buttler, but I think he's been woefully out form for very long. Phil Salt has still had a decent knock this time. So I think he can be dangerous. So I'm also picking Phil Salt as that danger one. If you get him out early, you have a good chance. And I would want to see the back of him early. Because if he gets going, he can really take the game away at knots, at the speed of knots, much higher than what even a Buttler can. So Phil Salt, I would be a bit wary of. Not so much Will Jack and Karan, as Siddharth mentioned. Karan, you're right. For a year ago, England didn't want to have anything to do with him, and now suddenly comes back into the scheme of things, and he's like become their crucial player. Will Jacks, quite honestly, I think he said it himself in one of those press conferences where he said, ideally, I should not be either bowling or batting. I should be contributing. I mean, anyway, but now he's become such an important all-rounder for them. But I'm not looking at that. The other one is, he's had a mixed bag of a tournament so far, but I know that, he can be dangerous is Jofra Archer. He can get hammered also for a lot of runs. He can be expensive and India can take him to cleaners. But on a given day, he can come up with a couple of jaffers that just, change the game. So I'm going with a Phil Salt and a Jofra Archer.
Plus, if you see Nikhil, Jofra Archer has the wood over Sanju Samson. Jofra Archer has the wood over Sanju Samson. And that is when, in that series, it was Archer's dismissals of Sanju that ensured that Sanju would once again spend some time in the wilderness.
Yeah. Valid point. So there are some fans in the chat box who are also, cheering for England. I'm guessing from England, saying, "Come on, England, do it." Somebody is saying Buttler naam ka tufan aayega. So Anshu is saying if England gives bowling to Jacks, वो हरवा देगा. But Vikas is saying Jacks against 6 left-handers could be the talking point, which I agree because India's got a lot of left-handers. So that'll be interesting as well. So yeah, that's that then. That's a preview of the semi-final, India versus England. Just a reminder, we're of course going to be live right at the toss. So we'll do the toss live with you guys. Look forward to your company. Then, of course, mid-innings, post-match, plenty more coming up on Sports Today. And of course, Siddharth is in Mumbai, so he'll be doing a few lives from there in the lead up to the game once the fans
from
turn
3
up.
o'clock onwards. From 3 o'clock, I will be doing this entire stretch from gate number 5, which is at the other end of the Wankhade, all the way till Vinu Mankad. I'll be a long live where I'll be talking with the fans from Church Gate's one end to Church Gate's other end. So do tune in for that from 3 o'clock because I think that is when I was told the stands will be thrown open from 4 o'clock onwards. So I'll be doing a long live until then, and then I'll be at the stadium. You'll get all the latest updates from Sports Today here as well.
On that note, you guys take care. Bye-bye. Wear your India jerseys in the evening. See you then. Take care.